I recently learned something really useful from having to get hearing aids. My hearing's not terrible, but I'm 60. I had a little hearing loss in one ear, and it was affecting me in meetings and presentations. I learned something about what's going on when you have hearing issues that actually helped me with something on presenting. This is a presentation vlog, and the whole idea is I'm going to take a moment to advocate for the slow, steady pace. You don't hear me talk about that very much, and the reason is because I am a huge advocate of a varied dynamic pace, modulated. In other words, when I talk really fast, sometimes that energizes a group, and when I talk slow, things become important. You can't really do that if you don't change. You can't emphasize without change. So I'm still a fan and a deep believer in the modulated pacing. But I want to take a moment to talk about the under recognized, at least by me, slow, steady pace. So, what I learned about dealing with a hearing issue was that the human being processes words as complete sounds. So, it's not cat that you have to sound out. Cat is a singular thing, it's got a k sound at the beginning, a t sound at the end. You don't have to think it through. You just grab it all in one sound. And it's kind of like words. You learn to read where you grab the whole chunks of words. You're not actually sounding them out. What happens when you have a little bit of hearing loss is you might not hear the k, you heard the at, or you might hear the ka, but you didn't hear the t. And when that happens, you shift your mind into grabbing the concept all at once to actually having to retroactively sound it out. Was that cat or hat or what was that? And so now you're listening to the context of the word through the rest of the sentence. Now, I was looking forward. When you listen to speakers, you're anticipating what they're saying. You're listening forward. Suddenly you're backfilling. You're looking backwards. I'm holding on to this word, listening to this now while you're going to the next sentence. I'm trying to assemble that sentence because I wasn't able to grab the words all at once. Now, I've got a hearing aid and I'm picking up that k and that t, and now I'm much more back to where I used to be. But there's a message here for the presenter that speaks to the generally slow, steady pace, which is when you take the time to communicate and present at a relatively slower pace, you're giving people the chance to backfill in their minds. They're able to process what you're saying. And sometimes hearing loss or not, you're trying to piece together what people are saying. And that slower pace allows you to do the mental processing, to digest what someone's saying. That's why there's so much speaking emphasis on a steady, slow pace. Now, be careful. As soon as you only have a steady, slow pace, you now have a monopace. It puts people to sleep. So you do have to have your moments where you speed up, the higher energy moments. It's totally fine to go into these places. And you want to be able to really slow down to get to the power. But let's start from a slower than normal base speed. And that way, people are going to have a chance to process the words that you're saying and keep looking forward instead of backward as they listen to your presentation.